You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's RuPaul's Drag Race After Show.
Stupid girl. Back. Stupid girl. Hello, everybody.
Ooh.
Cut the music. We got a lot to talk about. This was a Rupert size week. It's kind of loud now, right? In my ear. Sorry if I'm shouting.
I know, right?
Well, Cameron adjust the
Volume.
earpieces. Hey guys, I'm Kenny Harrison, your host. And welcome to another episode of RuPaul's Drag Race After Show. Sitting next to me is the gorgeously handsome
Drama. Cameron Marston.
and across from me, please welcome
Jackie Borowski,
AKA
just
something.
pick a name.
I said Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction.
Yes, but I can't remember her character's name from Pulp Fiction.
It was, give me a second, Mia Wallace.
Yeah, that's me.
Because I'm a dork.
I'm wearing a black and white outfit today instead of a glam outfit because my dryer broke and I had to have a first-time experience in a laundromat where an old man in a tracksuit hit on me for 2 hours.
Oh,
was
that's
That's what
amazing.
AfterBuzz will get.
I know, exactly. No pay and old men. So,
Great life insurance.
and joining us in the booth tonight is our chief.
Yeah, Roya.
Hi there.
Hi.
It's been a
Hey, I
while
was
since we
gonna
did a
say
show
your
with you.
name.
I know. I brought you guys back, didn't I?
Yes,
Yes.
you did.
Didn't get 3 times, but
Only two.
Back
By
with
the
the
way,
vengeance.
just so you know, we started this show and then we had a little whoopsie, so we had to restart it. Anyways,
Whoopsie all the time.
thank you for joining us. If you're watching us live on AfterBuzz TV, thank you for tuning in. If you're joining us on YouTube, make your comments down below. I'm not pointing to my junk. I'm just pointing to the comment section that you can rip us because we love to be ripped. We also love your nice comments, so be nice as well if you'd like to.
Let it
Although
rip.
I do appreciate that some of the people who have ripped, when I do comment back on their rips, it turns into funny banter, which I like. It's not mean-spirited.
Yeah, you kid because you love,
Yes.
right?
My favorite rip, though, was the guy who said we were burbling. You know
First of all,
what's
what
funny?
does it mean by, what does that mean?
Hold up the phone. So I thought it was a made up word, which was part of my jokey comment back. He misspelled two, and I called that out. But he also said burbling, and I was like, "You're burbling, whatever." And then I looked it up, and it's a real word. Yeah,
Okay.
it means continuous murmuring noise. So to this person, listening to us on AfterBuzz TV is the equivalent of continuous murmuring noise.
On that note,
Burble.
But if anybody reads that comment, I'm sorry. I mean, the rip kind of goes out the door when you don't check your grammar.
Yeah.
Complete
because
sentence
you
or
kind of negate your own.
People do that a
purpose.
lot.
maybe
Yeah.
a preposition. How about that?
Or whatever. Before we get into tonight's episode, I want a quick shout out to a friend of ours, Ray. We're thinking about you. We love you. Ray was with us for
San Fernando.
Yeah, Ray was with us.
first.
He's not gone, but he did a show when we were audio only, and so our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family tonight. So with that,
Wait. Shout out to
Go.
Lounging with Tony.
yeah.
Lounging with who? Who's that? I don't know. Who
We
that
are
is.
lounging
She's
with a
at a
little
gig,
less
girl.
Tony.
She's making that coin.
She's like the Dark Knight. She's like whenever Batman just kind of shows up. Whenever.
Lounging with Batman.
Yeah. Okay, so
she
hi,
promises
Tony.
to be back though.
Yeah,
If we're just gonna do shout outs, I'm just gonna do them now.
I know.
So shout out
Might
to
as well.
Maurice Modiga on
What up, dog?
on Twitter. Shout out to Bobby Hensley on Twitter as well.
Bye-bye!
And shout out to the Scandal fans who are following us on Twitter, which I think is awesome.
That's great. I don't know
I
who
love
you are.
Scandal too.
Okay.
Oh, this is Mr. Scandal over here.
I love you, Jake.
So, this is RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay,
if
we're
you
back
didn't
on-
know.
back on track. Sorry, guys.
Guys, this was RuPaul's.
Rupa size.
2 episodes. It was absolutely... Okay, so I liked this episode.
I did too.
And I liked both episodes. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why.
Because of the drama.
Lots of drama. Lots of scandal.
The build up.
Lots of
The
build-up.
breakdown. The rebuild.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was...
Tell us what you think.
Michelle Visage is my hero. Because
Oh, Kenny
she...
met her, yeah.
Oh, yeah. By the way... last night, I had the privilege of meeting Michelle Visage. She was the host at Good Microbrew and Grill, which is in Silver Lake, California. It's a great place. Every Monday, they do a bingo night, and then they watch the RuPaul's Drag Race, the current episode. And then, so it was a lot of fun. She was totally sweet. I approached her, and she shook my hand. We took a picture. It was great. She's actually called into the show before, so thanks, Michelle. I appreciate it. If you want to call us, we'll set that up for you. Or if you want to come to the show, you're more than welcome to come. So if you're in the East Side, it's not in West Hollywood. It's in
No,
the
it's East Side, yeah.
Good Microbrew. Shout out. Great
It's
place.
near the corner of Sunset and Lucille.
There you go. So first impressions of both episodes. I loved it. Yours?
I mean, if I take both episodes together, I would say this is my favorite in all seasons. As far as watching an episode, I actually enjoyed all the way through.
You know what I realized when, after watching the first half or the first episode that was on the other night?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Oh, what is that I was wondering? Okay. I'm a little slow. So when I was
she's
watching,
blonde underneath
when I
that
was,
wig.
I know, I was watching the Lip Sync for Your Life, and I was like, this is one of the first times watching RuPaul's Drag Race that I really want most of the queens to just stay. I just like all of the queens as a whole that much.
Right.
And I think it's such a strong, for me, like now I have strong feelings about them. So I'm like, I don't want anybody to leave.
Well, I agree, and I think that a lot of... I remember we talked about this maybe last week or the week before, at how certain queens that were under the radar we didn't really notice before, they're now showing up on our radar. I think a lot, to be specific, Trinity K. Bonet in these 2 episodes really turned it around.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
it wasn't that whole self-doubt.
Pessimist, defeatist.
Yes, it was that in certain points, but then she really turned it around. And another thing that I absolutely love was Bianca Del Rio. I was really taken by her these 2 episodes as well, because not only did she stay true to herself, she also showed that she is caring and she can be helpful and very, she helped Trinity along the way, and she kind of, she was that mother figure that she's always been, but she's also growing too. She learned patience in one of the episodes. So it was just like, it was good to see all, a lot of them come full circle again for me.
Well, genuine affection, I think, entails tough love.
Right.
People get things confused. We talk about this all the time with our regular, our real friends. There's a difference between ride or die and a real friend. A ride or die person just is with you no matter what, whereas a real friend actually tells you when you're right or you're wrong. You know, they actually give you the honest truth. So it's cool.
And I think being in a competition like this, where you're really not familiar with all the people who are involved, you go in and
with walls up.
It's kind of like walking to AfterBuzz TV. You don't really know people, and
It's
it's just
true,
like
yeah.
you try to make the. Not this isn't a bad place, but it's you try to make.
It's the real tea, folks.
Well, no tea, no shade. But you don't know people, and so you try to be. There's a gnat flying around me. You want to.
Be cautious.
I don't really know where I'm going with this.
No,
story.
I know what you do.
Because
I know what
for
you're
viewers
saying.
who don't know the back of what goes on in AfterBuzz, it's a great place, by the way. It's just there are Cam might
Human
wanna-
nature would lend
Save
to that.
me.
You go into scenarios with your guard up. That's just natural human behavior. And then as you get to know people, you start to let parts of the parts of you show through. So
Right.
And I think I know what you're trying to say, Kenny, because
Okay.
I was thinking about this on the way here, and I was thinking about how frustrated I have been that Trinity is continually not putting her, not that she's not putting her best foot forward, but that she's being so defeatist about it.
Right.
And it's like, when you're a performer, you have to, sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader.
Right.
Like, you go into these situations, and especially if, like, let's say you're on a show here at AfterBuzz and you don't know anybody else, it's like people don't know what you can do until you show them.
Right.
And so you have to, in some instances, especially on a show like this, where if Trinity, I don't think Trinity knew any of the other queens coming into this, it's like you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to keep working, even if you fail, even if you fall on your face, even if you do something wrong. You got to pick yourself back up and keep going, because that's the nature of the competition in this show, and show business is hard.
Yeah.
And so when she, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to like stutter, but I felt it when she came full circle in the end. I felt what Ru felt, which was like, you go, girl, because every single performer has felt exactly the same way. At some point where you're like, okay, I'm really trying. I'm trying my hardest, and I know I can do this. Like, there's a part of me in my head that says I know I can do this, but I keep failing. And it's like, when you're a performer, you just want to be like, I see that you have it. Pull it up there and stick it out. Not meant to be sexual, but ended up being sexual.
I appreciate that, because I know that Jason also talked about how we were going to be surprised and see the turnaround. He said that he thinks that Trinity was going to kind of kick it into gear. I appreciate that aspect, but I also, devil's advocate, what if Bianca wasn't there for her? What if Bianca wasn't that pushing force, that motherly figure to kind of say, get your shit together?
She really lucked out.
And then what that would suck is if Trinity goes farther than her. I mean, my thing is, it's still a competition. I get that you're making genuine connections and the like, but at some point you gotta stand on your own 2 feet.
Right.
So, I appreciated her transition, her change, but I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna hold. We'll see.
We'll see. So the first episode.
I should say, though, I think we should clarify that we actually were friends before coming into this.
Why should you have to clarify that?
Because you just said we don't know each other and everybody's strangers. We particularly are not strangers.
We're speaking with other AfterBuzzers, and
so if we're ripping on each other, it's not coming from a place of like, oh, I don't know you.
Sometimes it is hateful.
You all suck.
And it's just those looks. That's all you need. So let's just real quickly break down the episodes. I feel like I'm yelling. Episode number 7 was Glamazon by Colorevolution. Evolution. I put Revolution. I don't know why.
Works.
It's
They're a new sponsor though, as of like season.
So it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I kind of figured it was, but I thought it was kind of like made up, like RuPaul's, like just for the show, she made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she, the mini challenge for this particular episode, where it was the modeling fruits, which it was funny.
Part of the Let's Move for.
I appreciated, by the way, that there was no split screen on this one, so I could see everybody's thing. And then once I saw every performance, at the end of that, I was like, I still can't decide.
Well,
I don't know.
I think in both episodes, I mean, how do you pick a winner? I think she just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
You won.
I really feel like the second one I could kind of see which was more of a real winner. This one I was like...
The one funny moment was when Adora was crushing the nuts.
Yes!
It was hilarious.
And didn't Ru or somebody said that she's destroying those nuts? I was just like, oh god.
It was hilarious. And
the whole section, the whole part was all sexual innuendo.
Yeah,
it
was hilarious.
With the banana peeling foreskin. It was
clean
funny. it
out before you pound it.
Oh, I didn't get that. I got it now. Oh, okay. You learn something new every day. So, Laganja, our friend, wins the mini challenge in this particular episode.
His friend.
We're going to get to that because... Oh. By the way, I was asked, I think, by one of our Twitter fans what I thought about these two episodes and how, I was actually very pleased that last week I said that I wanted to see an extended version of the mini challenges or the main challenge. I wanted extra time with the show in general, and I wanted Laganja gone. And I think I was 3 for fucking 3 on everything this week. So Ask and you shall receive.
The RuPaul fairy visited
She
visited
came.
Kenny.
She came and made all my dreams come true.
Tinker twat.
So, anyway,
twat.
I just had to throw that in there. So, the main challenge for the first episode was a 30-second commercial for RuPaul's makeup line, and Ru put the queens together, and obviously it was based on what we've seen over the season on how she put them in pairs. She put Darian Lake
She
and
put like animosity pairs together on purpose.
and it made sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it just even like putting a Lador with Laganja, it was
well, they're
was
actually
brilliant.
I'm so
friends.
sorry. Kenny loves to make up names, but it's all good. Her
Well,
name's Adore. It's not Lador.
Well, I
him,
wrote
so it's all
Ladors
good.
because it was shorter. I try to be clever. Like
Ladoris.
I put Cortland because that made it shorter, and it's something I can remember because they were a team.
I can rock with that. I can
and-
rock with that.
And Jocelyn.
Oh, I
Okay.
get
And then I
it.
put Darila, which that didn't work for me. And
Sounds like diarrhea.
it's just a little bit. And then I put Trinica, but then on the drive over, I was like, I think Bianca Bonet is a better name.
Oh,
So
Bianca Bonet.
I put those two together.
Yeah, I like that.
Wow.
So I
He
shorthanded it.
is a tranny, I'm telling you.
I shorthanded it.
Good
So those were
job.
your teams, if you didn't know.
Those are your team names.
Yeah. So they were. Gosh, okay. So they were given the task of writing and performing in a 30-second commercial, and then they were given themes. Team Lador got Mean Girls, and then you had Team Cortland. They were given
Hot mamas.
Hot Mamas, and then Darian Lake and De La doesn't work for me. So
So Team
Cougars.
Diarrhea, they got Cougars.
And then the last team,
Bianca Bonet.
Bianca Bonet. See how it works, right?
But it
Working
is.
girls.
Working girls. So this episode, the way they did it, they spent a lot of time on each couple, even in the walkthrough and in the actual commercial process itself, and in the final product. I love that I got a lot, just about all that I needed to see.
Yep.
From the process to the actual product. So again, thank you, Logo TV, producers of RuPaul's Drag Race. I asked and I received.
Yeah, I felt like this was a real, and maybe that's why we're responding so well to it, because
Yes.
it's like we got a real sense of the process.
Yes. Who was your favorite?
My favorite?
Group or individual?
Well, let's start with group. Because
I liked Working Girls the best.
I thought,
liked Working
you
Girls the
did?
best
I
too.
actually think they were robbed in the final.
Well, here's the
outcome.
thing. I thought Adore, if we're picking just like singular
Adore was
people,
my favorite.
Adore was my favorite. But if we're picking groups, the strongest as a group was the Working Girl group.
Exactly.
From
And-
what we saw.
From what we saw, and then, but at the same time, I don't think that Darian Lake and Ben De La Creme were the worst. I
No.
think their concept for the commercial may not have been the strong. I actually thought Courtney and Jocelyn were the weaker commercial, and I think Michelle kind of agreed with me because when they announced the winner and she said, Laganja was like, I'm shocked, and Michelle was like, me too. It was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
By the way, Michelle did not hold back on anything. These two episodes, she did not hold back. Oh my God. You gotta come in here.
Wait, real quick break.
Yeah.
Just a shout out. We have DJ Jesse J that just showed up in the booth. He's one of the original OGs of our show, and
Jesse,
now he's gonna pop on real.
Hi, hey Jesse.
Hi, girl.
He's moved
Here,
on to
have some
bigger and better
microphones.
things.
Apparently, I
clearly.
can't do the show.
Bigger and better
Why you
dicks.
can't do the show? We
I
love
don't
you.
know. I'm just saying, there's an empty seat, and I was not invited.
There is
Wow.
an empty seat, and you were invited.
If I had my way, you'd be here permanently.
He's in my
Where's Miss
notes.
Tony?
Oh, she's
Next
working.
topic.
She's a working girl.
So, we love you, Jesse. I lost my
Stupid
train.
bitch.
What happened? What are
I
we
know.
doing?
It was like being struck by magic.
So the actual commercials I thought overall were funny. I didn't think that Darian Lake and Ben De La Creme, I thought they, with what they had and what they were going for, I think they executed it well. It's just it didn't sit with the judges.
I know that Darian Lake is being penned as a bitch, but
She's funny.
But here's the thing though.
I kinda love her.
Here's the thing.
I don't understand.
oh,
High five.
Kenny and I are always here. I don't get the animosity.
I don't either.
I don't
they're
get
both
it.
white girls.
I get okay. So the only time that it's ever been shown is when Ben won and she was like, I won and I won too, and then
Right.
But I don't think that's enough. Whereas Laganja and Bianca's kind of thing, it's because
been growing.
She's annoying, and not only annoying, it's just she's not listening and not growing. So, but with this whole Ben versus Darian Lake, I just don't.
I don't get it either.
And I think it's just Darian Lake. I think she just doesn't genuinely like her.
Which is, and it's interesting to me too, because I respect Ben's response. I know people call her Dayla, but I write Ben in all of my notes. I don't know.
As you should.
I respect Ben's response to her, which is kind of just like, meh. She's kind of just like, meh, which I think it's a healthy response. This person is coming for you, and instead of letting it unravel you, you're just like, meh.
But she does it every chance she gets.
I know, it's
which
so weird.
I don't mind. I actually like Darian Lake, and she's starting to be on my. I'm on Team Dan. I can get down with that because she's also
She's
fun.
talented.
We're gonna talk
She's
about it.
talented.
So anyway,
And are we gonna talk about how Courtney has been randomly coming for Jocelyn now?
okay.
I don't think it's specific to Jocelyn though. I think she does that with everybody. It just got maybe I don't know. You guys know more about editing. I think she's like that with everybody. Well, I think she does that to everybody. It just was focused on because they were partners this episode.
Last time I spent 15 minutes apparently on editing, and viewers
This
don't know
whole,
that.
you know what? We have a long time left. We're gonna spend the entire time. We're gonna spend the entire time talking about editing.
I'm not gonna rip on editing. I actually thought this show these two episodes were cut together really well, and because Jackie brought up she brought up the whole two-shot thing. There were a lot of two-shots that he couldn't get away from, and I think that made it more authentic. As far as the cutting process.
When they have the wide shots of them in the workroom, those are my favorites because you feel like you're really getting a sense of this is how they're working in the workroom.
And I actually have a question since you brought up the whole Jocelyn, or actually the Cortland team. Do you guys think that Jocelyn is very, she's like, oh, you're my idol and I love working with you. It's an honor. I think that's a little too much. Because I don't know Courtney Act prior to the show, so I don't know how big she is. Maybe she's
huge in Australia.
I don't know that. So for me, I think it's. And by the way, I think she's just the cutest little thing.
She's the cutest little bee
ever. She has these little quirky, little one line. Oh, and that's not funny. It's just. I love her to death. But I think she over.
Here's the thing I feel like I have to say. So if I had really did idolize someone and I was working side by side with them, I would be a weirdo.
No, I wouldn't say it.
I would totally be a weirdo.
I wouldn't tell them. Because I think that feeds into their ego. Because you said it, now I feel like Courtney is going after her every chance that she gets. Because she knows she can get away with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little unfair. And it kind of painted Courtney as kind of a negative person in these two episodes a little bit.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
She totally took advantage of the situation. But I think they work together well as a pair.
I mean, as far as taking advantage of the situation, I don't necessarily. I mean, maybe it just appears that way. And it could be true, too, but I don't think that Bianca's any less calculated. I honestly don't.
No.
So I think Bianca just gets away with it because she's funny. And don't get me wrong, she's in my top two, but
I have her winning. I can honestly see her winning or coming
I can see her winning.
So let's jump down to the runway. Unless we had something.
No.
Okay.
No.
Theme.
The theme of the runway was black and white glamour.
Great store.
Which my favorite was Bianca Del Rio's dress. I loved it. I loved the hair. I loved the way the
shaping.
Yes.
I wrote Bride of Frankenstein. Yes. I did like the Bride of Frankenstein
and
hair.
I have to say, Trinity K.
Those
Bonet
were my top two.
Was a close second. That dress when she turned
it did
around.
Look like dice.
Well, it was.
Oh, okay.
It was they were calling it dominoes.
Oh.
Yeah. I loved it.
Those are my top two.
Yeah. Who's your worst?
Laganja and Jocelyn.
Okay, here's the thing about Laganja.
Here's the thing.
The hair, I don't know. The wig.
Fuck was that?
It was not I don't know.
Here's the thing. I don't see how Gollum Santino. We were also sent a video of him by one of our fans, like sitting in his underpants, and it was one of the most disturbing things.
No.
But if you want to see a video of
Sweet Jackie, she'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. And I hate calling him Gollum because I actually like Santino's opinions, but he does kind of look like that. Anyway.
And he's kind of creepy like that.
He, for somebody who comes from Project Runway, you would expect them to. He clocks people on clothing all the time, and he didn't mention how poorly sewed together that costume was.
I didn't see the details. I didn't mind the actual
Laganja.
And I did notice the tuck with the
long tuck,
elongated crotch.
Because it looked like it was way up to past her hips, like near her rib cage.
Not the T, girl.
Yeah, it was poorly executed.
See, I just noticed that, like, all the sewing, when they did the close-up, I wasn't looking particularly at the tuck, but I was like, the sewing's all crooked. Mm-hmm. It's like she had sewed it together herself, and I'm like, it doesn't look so good.
Oh, what about Rue's dress?
I actually loved Rue's dress because I loved that it was really colorful and contrast.
I got ripped for not being rainbow enough. Is that rainbow? You can taste the rainbow from the TV screen.
There was Skittles coming out of her behind.
It was amazing. I actually liked how the blue blended in with the pink at the bottom.
I thought it was really beautiful.
Yeah, she looked like a princess.
She looked like a rainbow princess.
With Skittles and everything.
With Skittles and everything.
So there were your rainbows and Skittles. And your unicorns. What do you guys think of Adore?
I loved Adore's outfit. I loved her Cruella de Vil channeling. I loved it.
Of course, Laganja thought it was cheap. Which it probably was. I thought it was.
She clocked it for what? Forever 21 or something?
Yeah.
I thought Darian's outfit was, to me, that was the best she's ever worn.
Looked, yes, I have to agree.
And
however, Ben de la Creme, I love her to death. I did not like her look this week.
I liked it.
The penis wrapped in bandages on top of her head was not.
I loved it. I loved her pointy neck thingy.
It reminded me of like an alien Venus flytrap.
I love aliens and Venus flytraps together, so it was perfect.
I didn't like it.
Ergo laundromat.
The laundromat has nothing to do with this.
It has nothing to do with this for other people. But yeah, and Jocelyn, I felt bad because she did wear the same thing kind of twice in a row. But again, I give her props for how she can make her junk disappear like that.
You know what though, like
how it's done.
I thought that version, like I know that she's doing the same thing twice in a row, but that version of the outfit like was actually a better version
I thought so
of the previous one.
But see, okay, but the thing was,
and I thought it was cute.
The thing was, last week they were saying, you had like 15 like
I agreed with that.
On.
That they said she over accessorized,
and then she pulled it back, and they still clocked on it.
No.
She could have done better, but I mean, I don't think it was as horrible as the editing.
Yeah,
it seemed.
No, it's just that the people were saying
gonna
that.
ban that word from us from now on. And then we had
and Darren's hair started falling off. Did you notice that?
It came back, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was after the lip sync
started slipping.
I thought Darren looked great, and
she did. That was the best
I think
look.
Courtney looked great. And I didn't know anything about Klaus. What is it? Klaus. I wrote it down somewhere. The guy that she was looking like. Mm-hmm. I didn't know much about him.
But she looks great anyway.
Yeah, she looked amazing. Anyway. And I like the concept, and yeah.
Apparently she has a lot of referential clothing because one of our viewers said that her last bedtime
Klaus
sleepy look was supposed to be a Victor and Rolf takeoff. Mm-hmm. So I wish she would say that, or they would have her say that more, because then it makes more sense.
This episode they brought it up.
Yeah.
She brought it up before.
It makes more sense.
And again, she ripped on Jocelyn right before they even got dressed, because they obviously knew that they were going to be dressed similar.
Right.
So she's a bully.
I loved Leah.
She's hilarious. I loved her interaction with Michelle.
Yes.
Hilarious.
I'm assuming they're
good
both
ripping. I love it.
I'm assuming they're both Jersey girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
The
sound
funniest
like it.
thing is when they were talking about Cortland's commercial,
mm-hmm.
and Santino was like, "Oh, they're just too fishy," or no, I think Michelle was like, "Oh, they're just two real women," And she was
Matronly.
defending them, and then Ru
Yeah.
was like, "So what did you like about the commercial?" And she was like, "Well, I didn't really actually like it." And I flipped out because it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in a long time on the show.
She's hilarious.
She's a great judge.
And she's one of the only people that, like, Michelle, when she speaks, like, nobody refutes her. They just don't say anything. She's the only person that will take Michelle head on and be like, well, why that? Why that?
Well, sometimes Santino will jump in. Santino. Gollum will jump in.
Precious.
Oh, gosh. Oh, and Lainey Kazan from My Big Fat Greek Wedding was
Yes.
the other judge.
Tan. Just tan.
She
My Big Fat Tan
reminded-
Wedding.
She reminded me of Shirley Temple.
Lip
but-
sync for your life.
What? How is she Shirley Temple?
She reminded me of Shirley Temple. I don't know why. The older version of Shirley Temple. What about Lip Sync for Your Life?
Well, let's
You
get
brought
there.
it up.
Let's move on. Let's move this train along.
You
Let's
brought it up.
move this.
So what was Lip Sync for Your Life?
Well, who won?
The winners were Team Lador.
See, and here's another thing that that bugged me. I don't understand why the team had to win. They don't always do that.
Agreed.
Why didn't they have a person win? You know, I don't understand why they did that because to me, from what we saw, it was clear that Laganja was struggling. I mean, her Valley Girl voice wasn't really Valley Girl, which is what Ru was trying to get her to do. And I don't understand. It was like she won because Adore was so good.
So we agree that Lador was the real winner of this challenge.
Adore. Yes, I agree.
Now,
Adore.
and this is what I said earlier. I think Trinity and Bianca, excuse me, they were robbed because I think they worked better
They
as a
worked,
pair.
and I think that's if we're talking about, and we do this a lot with our talking about like when a person ends up being the leader of a group, like should that person be held responsible? And if you're not working together as a group really well, then shouldn't the stronger group win?
Yeah.
I can see that they may have did the win this way to build more tension, knowing Laganja,
Yeah.
knowing that she kind of rode the coattails of Adore.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm sure all the queens
And
are
actually-
talking about it.
And then I mean it's just like it adds an extra dimension when you know that they work together a lot. So
We kind of skipped over the process. I did like that the bit when they were turning and they were supposed to turn in sync.
Yes!
They kept missing each other. That was another funny
That was
moment.
awesome.
Great moments in this episode.
Party.
Overall. Great moments. So they were the winners. Darian Lake and Ben Delacreme were well, I wouldn't call them losers because in my opinion, I don't think they were the weaker
No.
pair, but they found themselves in the bottom two. So they had to lip sync against each other. We have actually seen the Frenemies episode last season where Sharon Needles, the one that Willem got disqualified from.
Right.
That was another episode where they did the group loss,
The
and
Yes.
if you lose, you have to lip sync against
Right.
one another, and so I kind of like that. And I agree with what you said about having the one winner, but I kind of like the fact that if you didn't win as a pair, then you have to.
It's an added element of tension.
Yeah.
But this was one instance where this was like I said earlier in our podcast, that this was the moment that I realized there were so many queens I just didn't want to go home. And when it came down, and I was like, I don't want either of these queens to go home when they first started to lip sync. And then when it turned out, like they got down to Ben and you think Ben's going home. And I almost started crying and screaming at my television set. I was like, no, it's not her time. It's not her time. And then she was safe and I was like, thank you, God.
Okay, so
Yeah, I totally forgot about what I had called out anyway.
here's the thing. You're gonna rip me for
Oh yeah,
this.
you called that. They would do the save-a-ho.
You're gonna rip me for this whole editing thing.
It's okay.
Untucked completely spoiled the ending to this episode for me. I love the show. I love the end. I love how they both were saved. But I also know that from the looks, the first 40 seconds of Untucked when they're like introducing the show, they cut through all the looks, and I knew that Ben had another look in store for the show. So I knew that she wasn't going to get eliminated. So when she called Darian first, I was like, oh well, they're both going to stay because
Ben has that red outfit. Oh my gosh!
in
I
the
didn't
following
even think of
and
that.
in the following episode. So it was
Why
a
are you
little.
watching Untucked first?
No,
No, it's in the preview reel.
Yeah.
Ben has a red outfit that nobody
No
has
one's
seen yet.
right?
Exactly. And I hate to give it away. Adore
Yeah,
has two
she
more
does. I saw
outfits,
that
so
too.
she's gonna be around.
Somebody
for-
actually called that in our comments
Yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
I mean-
Darian I don't give. She totally
She turned
deserved
it
that
out.
win,
Yeah,
and
she
I
did.
would have been pissed too if I found out that Queen was staying.
She turned it out, even because they don't like each other, or she doesn't like.
Whatever.
I loved that song though.
Oh, the song was "Point of No Return" expose.
Expose.
And we all. I remember that song. I remember the
What
video.
didn't somebody say? Or
Bianca.
Bianca. Yeah.
She said the Queen had it on cassette and she knows
Cassette.
every
Yeah.
word. It's a classic. And again, it wasn't maybe the best choice for a lip sync, but I feel like for these two people,
It worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted Ben's reveal to be a little sooner. 'Cause
Or it took a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's like we've said this before. If you're gonna do a reveal,
Get out of it.
Get out of it.
Yeah. And I actually like what she had underneath.
I did.
It's better
I
than
stopped watching her.
Darian Lake.
I was like, "Where's Darian?"
Soaked up the stage. So
Classic. If you're a fan of trannies and going to tranny or drag shows, when she started mimicking like she was collecting dollar
money.
bills, I fell off
Yes.
my couch. That's classic shit. Sorry.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
It was
she
hilarious.
knows exactly what she's doing. She is calculated. She's funny as shit.
She is hilarious.
So, in our opinion, obviously Darian Lake won the actual
Yeah.
lip sync for your life, but Rue decided to save them both. And I love
I
Ben.
agreed with
I
that.
have Ben in my top 3 at the beginning.
And again,
so.
nothing against Ben. I think Ben is for me is like in the vein of Jinx, where I think she has the potential to do things way outside of the drag box.
Which I love.
Definitely, which
I
I love
love
too.
that.
But I just think as far as drag queen, I think that would be limiting for her.
I want you guys to clear something up for me,
yeah?
because Michelle brought it up and has been bringing it up over the course of the season. And we've actually seen her or heard her express this with Chad Michaels about Ben's not coming
I
through.
have a theory.
What is your theory? Because the question is...
Cut Kenny off. I have a theory.
But what is the question that I'm getting at, and I hope you can help me, is how do you get out of that? Like, how do you bring yourself forward on the main stage if this is your stick, if this is what you're accustomed to, how do you change it up to say, this is who I really am?
To not answer that question, I feel like I'll answer it eventually. But I feel like
Just keep talking in circles. You'll get there eventually.
Blurble.
I feel like Michelle Visage might be coming for her a little because she looks like Michelle Visage. Do you ever think of that? I'm like, maybe she's just coming for her because she looks like her and she's having this like feeling like she's imitating.
Again,
I don't know.
And because I'm such a dork and I knew that Michelle was going to be at Good last night, I listened to our podcast with her when she was talking about Chad Michaels and how this is the only time that she actually gets to see the contestants. If
That's
she's not
true.
directing the commercial or
Right.
if she's not, helping them in the workroom, she knows nothing about what's going on behind the
Right.
scenes. So when Trinity comes out, you get this present, or when Bianca comes out, you kind of get a sense of who they are. And I kind of agree, but on Ben's behalf, like how do you change it up? Like what do you do? You
It's
know?
hard because actually, and somebody commented on YouTube about this as well, that Ben is one of the only consistent ones who is completely like polarizes, and so when he's as a boy, totally different character than when he's in drag. They really don't weave back and forth or go back and forth. I can understand as far as being more genuine or coming off with less
Character?
polish. Maybe it's a
Is it-
matter of not being so politically correct all the time. Like she's always very controlled and calculated with everything
Well,
she
how do you
says.
break that down though? For a runway.
You lose Drag Race.
Oh my god! For me, like, I said the same thing when I don't understand Michelle's comment on that because it's like a lot of like Chad Michaels. If we're gonna use Chad Michaels as a comparison, Chad Michaels' thing is to be polished. Chad Michaels is polished. Like if you talk to Chad Michaels, like we had Chad chatted with Chad on one of our shows. That's her personality. Her personality is polished. So if your personality is this politically correct, polished person, it's like you can't expect everybody to be vulnerable, just like you can't expect everybody to be like brash like Bianca. It's a personality trait, and it seems to be a personality trait that bothers Michelle because it doesn't have a level of vulnerability.
Well, we see that in the second episode.
Well, it also, it doesn't make sense to us because we see the vulnerable
Everything.
side
Yes.
of Ben. We
Yeah.
saw the whole story about being a fat kid.
So
Join the club, girl.
And,
Sorry.
And the thing is, I was overweight too, believe it or not. And my thing is how do you, on his behalf, how do you break that down? Like, how do you completely? You say lose the competition, but
he didn't know
I
what to
want
do
him to do
either.
well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just how do you do that? If you know, make a comment down there.
Down there.
Like,
Tweet us.
rip on us.
Kenny has his Twitter name.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you just can't be a cheerleader. You can't be sparky all the time. Sometimes, you're having a bad day. Sometimes you're ripping on people or you're doing behind. If you're passive aggressive, maybe you shouldn't be passive aggressive. Maybe you should be more straightforward about it. Because she's ripping too. I mean, we see some of it. She's trying to be a little coy about it, but she rips too. And some of that bragging about not being in the bottom third, only being in the room a certain amount of times. Whatever.
And that can get annoying.
It does. Girl, bye.
I still love her. So that's the end.
Darian, you won, girl.
That's the end of the first episode. That was episode 7. No elimination.
Wait, can we talk about why Alyssa would have the secret to winning? Girl, you went home early. Not early,
Can
but
we talk about it later? Because I want to really rip on Laganja.
Okay.
I want to spend at least 20 minutes on that.
well, I think that's tied into this though because here I'll make a segue.
Okay,
Watch my segue.
Segue.
Segue. I feel
She sings her segue.
Sing it, sister.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to be Courtney Act. So Alyssa did her little secret to winning that moved like Laganja, and
Oh God.
and I was watching because it's like you kind of forget some of the affectations of these queens when you haven't seen them in a while, and I'm like, all Laganja's doing is mimicking exactly Alyssa's affectations.
And correct
Some
me
of
if
it's
I'm
also
wrong.
stole from Nene Leakes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Shangela
Yes.
in that same house?
Yes.
But Shangela doesn't do that.
Oh, yes, she does. She got annoying at one point with the whole, hallelujah and all that, and it was just kind of like.
Hallelujah, Shangela.
Yeah, Hallelujah Shangela.
But it's still that kind of like.
Don't get me wrong. I wasn't a big Shanji fan. Shanji. But meeting her in person, I had a small text back and forth in comments. She is very intelligent. She, I guess, has a
And I
degree in
don't-
marketing, I believe, as well. So she knows what she's doing. She may not be a good drag queen, but she knows what she's doing with her brand, I guess.
I don't doubt that, but it's still that kind of like, please be quiet and just settle down.
My thing is, if you have a drag mother like that, you might want to look for another one. Girl.
She really didn't do that well in her season. The only thing she
Alyssa,
had going
no.
for her
Not
was
even just that.
her fight with Coco.
You would have educated your daughter a little bit better. Sorry, girl.
Anyway, moving right along.
I just feel like Laganja, her voice affectations, the ones that people are picking on all the time, because it's like Laganja looks separate. Like she has her own distinct, unique look, and they're right. They're right about saying that when she's talking to people backstage, she doesn't have a weird voice. And then when she gets in character in her costume, she starts to have what to me is an Alyssa voice.
But you know what?
She does it when she walks into the workroom.
I was
too.
just
That's
about to say,
fucking irritating.
every episode so far that I've seen when they're walking into, she's the first one out and she's the first one that has something to say. Even when RuPaul comes in or RuPaul has, with the whole.
Hey, mama.
Yeah, it was just. God.
She's like a tall, elongated pixie.
I almost
Should
broke
rock
my,
with that, girl.
A couple of episodes, I almost broke my TV because every time she said the whole mama thing, I wanted to throw my remote at it. It was just so.
I hate that.
Now
God.
we had
Don't do that ever again.
after the last episode, and Alyssa does that.
She just started that though, so I think she thinks that's quiche. Girl's not quiche. Nene Leakes does that all the time, girl. You ain't new. Get a new trick.
After the last episode,
Trick?
we all had a big conversation about how you guys were annoyed by Adore's voice when she first came in, and I was like, she speaks like people from Southern California speak. That's their voice.
I didn't know that though.
Okay, hold on. Let me take it back because what I really said was I get annoyed by a lot of the young queens that come in and don't understand that when they speak like this all the time, when they wonder why people get irritated by them, that's exactly what it is. It's a little annoying sometimes.
But I thought she was doing it like Laganja's doing it all the time. But that's actually how she speaks. And The more
Even
I
then.
see her, the more I see Adore, the more I like her. I adore Adore.
She's
do.
charming.
Shout
I
out to
love
Adore.
her.
She's charming.
And I could almost switch her with Courtney Act in my top 3. I can honestly do that because these last 2 episodes she really stepped it up. Although in this particular, we're on episode 8 now, Drag Queens of Comedy. I didn't think that she was that horrible per se on the Adore on the main challenge.
Oh no.
But I think overall her growth from episode 1 to now, I think has gotten a lot better, and she's becoming someone to root for.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
So knowing, but
Bullying.
as the show progresses, I appreciate the growth of the queens, but does that mean that in the earlier episodes that they should keep her along because they think she might grow? I mean, because there's a couple of times where we all believe that she should have went home.
Yeah.
So how is that fair to the
Adore?
queens who went home? Yeah, there
I
was
don't
times where I
think-
thought she was pretty bad.
I said in the first episode that she should have.
There
went
was
home.
times where she was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean the whole look in the first episode.
I
and-
love that look, the Christmassy look.
Oh,
I
God.
Now,
loved
had
it.
that been like Cha Cha, what's that girl from Serena Cha Cha?
Serena Cha-Cha,
She
no.
would have went
No,
home in
ma'am.
the first episode.
No, ma'am.
If she would have come on the runway looking like Adore did in the first episode, she would have went home.
And again,
No,
I'm
because
a fan
Serena
of
Cha-Cha
Adore's.
is not put together.
I'm a fan of Adore's. But what I'm
I am
saying
too.
though is,
Now I am.
does that just because you think she has the potential, you keep her over somebody who actually did better than her in a challenge?
Well, I think
is that fair?
I think Rue thinks that all of them have potential, and it just so happens one has to go home.
Girl, I'm lending to your editing thing.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck it.
You gotta send me an email when you're gonna.
So,
help me
what
out.
about episode 8?
It was good. I like the mini challenge. I like the lip sync upside down, laying flat on your back.
I like that Adore ate her eyeballs. That cracked me up. I lost
And
my
again,
shit.
I thought that would. I think that would be a winner for me.
I think the only reason she didn't win is because the eyeballs weren't
Falling
stuck
off.
on well.
And
Yeah.
I love that. That was a highlight of mine. That's what I wrote. That's the only thing I
But
wrote.
I did think, you know what's funny is the whole time I'm watching it, and I couldn't tell if it was because the camera was on Jocelyn so much, but I was like, I feel like Jocelyn is the winner in this whole situation. And then she was.
I couldn't even. But they did do the split screen at one point.
I know.
Did you lose? Did you freak out?
I freaked out. I was like, too much!
She
Too
had
many
an
mouths!
epileptic seizure.
Too
going
many
on.
mouths on the dance floor.
So Jocelyn did win. I don't know what the what do you call it?
Or the prize. The
No,
prize?
not even the prize, but like what determines a winner?
RuPaul. RuPaul determines the winner.
It's like, I want that one.
Yep.
Jocelyn won, so she got to choose the order. Which
The order.
I like. I love Jocelyn. She's so funny.
She's in my top 3.
You know what? Okay,
Oh,
so
she's in top 3 now? Oh.
So I was thinking about this too as I was watching it. Tony said a couple of episodes ago that Jocelyn, and I don't agree with this comparison that Jocelyn's like Tammy, but he did say he was saying that because Jocelyn has her own like sense of humor and is in her own little world, and I'm like, that is true though.
I would put her in the same category as Jinx.
Yes.
Because
yes,
Jinx
I
is
definitely would.
They're like they're on planet where she's on planet Jocelyn.
Right.
And if you want to go there, you're more than welcome to come.
Right.
But she doesn't have to come. What was that for? What did I say?
No, I actually think that Jocelyn is a polished version of Adore, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that she's also very charming.
Yes.
She wins people over. She has
is
charm.
charming.
Sorry, Jinx didn't have charm for me.
I love
Sorry.
Jinx.
Sorry.
I love Jinx.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry,
but I
not
think
sorry.
that Jocelyn is charming. I
Jocelyn
find
is
her
charming.
very like endearing for some reason.
Who, Jocelyn?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, she rips
Like I wanted
too.
her to be my little baby sister.
Like I love how she ripped on Trinity's little chin face, calling it a smaller version of Ovation.
That's what she said.
And that little lash, she's just adorable. She's like a little
But
puppy
here's
gang.
the thing: is this is some people. When you watch them, they don't have to be as polished as a Raja or a Chad Michaels because they just have that kind of personality that draws you to them. And sometimes, for me, there are certain people that I watch. Like this is one of the reasons I love Jinx Monsoon. Jinx Monsoon would be the kind of person who always has like a little like smudge of something on her face or something, and that's endearing. There's something endearing about her having that. And then there's some people it's just messy on. But it's like sometimes you can't define it. It's that one thing that you're like, this person is just really charming. And I don't know why, but there's just something about them.
I can't put my finger on it.
Just so charming.
So the main challenge was the comedy show, and surprise, surprise, Bianca wins it.
Right? What?
Yeah, she won. Although I will have to say Trinity was fucking hilarious.
Trinity was really funny.
And Darian Lake again.
Darian Lake.
The two funny people. You know, and I would even argue the fact we all know Bianca is a comedian. I would argue the fact that I would have given Trinity the win for this challenge. I know Bianca was funny, but I think Trinity could have.
I think
they
picked
RuPaul.
the person who made the most people laugh. But I mean, Trinity, it was like night and day. I was like, that is funny.
And to follow the train wrecks before her, which let's get into it because. There was some moments.
Wait, was this now the episodes are kind of like fused together. Yeah, but was this the episode where Trinity kind of like comes after Rue and is like, I'll do what I want to do?
Yeah, well,
I'm not quite sure what's going to come out of my mouth when it happens.
That was the first
I'm not
episode.
making any promises.
Oh.
That was the first episode, and I think Rue kind of ripped her on it a little bit. And so the second time around, she kind of did the same thing, and so Rue reminded her, you know what, you always do this, you know. You need to have some, you know, confidence in what you're doing because you are funny. You can be funny, and you know you need to own that. So yeah, it was a little. I can see where you were kind of like meshing the two, but yeah, that was the order.
It was. I liked that she made that pointed like, okay, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to go out there, and she didn't have a cheerleader this time. It was just her. It was just her being funny.
Well, you know, I think she kind of won Bianca's respect from the previous episode, from the previous week. So. I think she kind of has a new like Bianca's not on her case anymore, basically, because Bianca was ripping on her early in the season, and now there's a little bit.
Wouldn't you?
Of course I would. And I also know that she hasn't had her flippers. Is it flippers or flappers?
Who cares?
The teeth in these last couple of episodes.
Jaws.
Maybe it's because she feels like she needs. People keep saying that they don't understand her with them.
She's speaking. I still don't understand her, but I think when she's performing, she's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
You know.
I think she's learning how to kind of sit in her persona.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they basically in the workroom. The whole ganja sitting underneath the table.
Oh my gosh, no.
Here's the thing.
No.
I remember when I was 24 years old, and this one can vouch for me. I used to do say some things that were, you know, looking back, I'm now 34 years old. I can look back and say, wow, that's who I was back in the day. I'm hoping that 10 years from now, Laganja's going to look back on this whole RuPaul's
and be like, why did I sit under that table?
Or just look over it all in just one like little freak bubble and say, hey, that was me. That's in the past.
That was a hot mess.
And I hope she grows from it because this whole attention thing, this need for like, and I can't remember who said it. I think it was Bianca or Dora might have said it. Maybe when she's not on camera, she's a totally different person. But every time she's on camera, every time she's got the spotlight, it's a breakdown. It's me. It's, you know, the episode where she had her mom and dad, you know, send her a message. It was about me and how dare you, you know, step on my thunder or steal my thunder. And it was just, girl.
She's a dancer.
I think also though
it's annoying.
It's hard, like I said earlier, it's hard to be a performer, and sometimes it's tough and sometimes it's scary. But if this is going to be your livelihood and this is going to be what you want to do, you have to just, like, in some instances, just toughen it up and stick your head in not the mud. That's not what I wanted to say.
The sand.
No, but stick to your guns. That's what I mean. Stick it up your ass. What is happening?
I don't know.
Well.
But yeah, sometimes you just have to be brave for yourself. And it's like, you can't, she was clearly struggling and then having some meltdowns backstage. And it's like, there is real talent there.
But I'm just
There's
saying,
real talent there, and she's like using all these other issues instead of like putting forth
We're
the
not
real
doing
talent.
that, girl. We're not doing that.
I don't. That was the previous episode.
I don't care.
Adore.
We're not doing all that.
She was
bro.
just like, oh, I just nervous laugh. 'cause I
Here's
don't
my
know how
thing.
to-
I'm irritated at the people who built her up in her head to think
Yeah.
that she's the shit.
Yeah.
She literally stood up there and goes, well, you know, out in the real world, people love me and they adore me. And then Rue clocked her real
She's like,
quick.
this is not
This
a
is not the nightclub girl.
bitch. She said it.
Thank Jesus, Mary and Joseph. She said something to her. I was like, somebody please burst that bubble. And I wish Alyssa was there just so she could get ripped too.
Yeah.
This your daughter, girl?
Well,
she's only been doing it for 2 years, and I
doesn't
think
matter.
There should be some drag CPS or something.
doesn't matter. But yeah, so the challenge was, I think I said that already. Where are we? Are we in the workroom? Sure.
Yes.
So Jocelyn's little comment about her, you know, it wasn't her cup of soup, and her being the black horse. I love
I love that.
She is straight up the dark horse. For
I loved
sure.
it, but and I loved it because I wrote, we all feel like that sometimes.
Right.
It was a great story because you watch it and you're like, yeah, we've all felt like that. So we can all relate to it.
Right. But she did get to pick the order of
Yes.
of the how the girls were going to go on. I think I would have reversed it. I think I would have started out with Bianca. I feel like you start off your comedy show with not that it mattered because it all kind of worked out
But
in the
Darian
end.
was really strong too. so
Darian
it's
was
like,
strong. I would have put Darian last and put Bianca first.
You want to end with a bang.
Really?
If you want a good show, now it's a competition, so if she wanted to screw over Bianca, put her first.
Right.
But I think Jocelyn was smart. She wanted a good show in entirety, so
Yeah.
sorry about it, girl.
But okay, I did like the comedy. I like the comedy idea. It's just for the show in particular, it's been done before. The only twist was like having the old people in the crowd.
I do like the comedy challenge though. I think it's fun to watch.
When they did it a roast, I think it was last season. I thought that was a new twist
Yeah.
to
They roasted Brew.
the comedy. And so I think they were kind of backtracked to, you know, this was recycling something that we've already done, we've already seen, just, you know, have stand-up comics and, you know, they get up there and tell jokes. By the way, they pretty much all sucked, except for the three that I mentioned earlier. Because Courtney Act
was bad.
I didn't
What's
get
up with the man sleeping?
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
And this is why I appreciate Bianca, because that's how she operates.
Yeah.
She can go out on stage and not prepare anything and
Yeah,
still
she's
give
a live
good
wire.
show. Yeah.
I did like the twist because you have to, at this, Rue's basically saying, okay, now you have to write for this type of audience. And there were some jokes that would land probably for a different type of audience, but they were not going to land for an audience of old people. And then somebody commented, was Jinx's vet one of the people in the audience? Remember Jinx's vet, the vet that she worked with?
On the makeover?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
See,
I
I
wasn't
don't
looking
know
that
either.
closely.
Fans, if you think you saw Jinx's vet in the
Talk
audience,
to them.
let
They're
us
over there.
know.
Don't talk to me. Talk to them.
Oh, fans. Fans. I still haven't learned how to work the camera.
Except for when it's POV. So that was a sexual show. No one got it. Anyway, I like the old people in the crowd. I loved it when I think it was Laganja when she was doing hers, and the lady looked up, and then she started weaving again.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like even
And
with the
then
guy
someone
sleeping,
heckled.
I was like, that's a little contrived. It was a little contrived for
That
me.
was the worst.
The heckling?
Oh, I felt so bad.
The
Yeah.
heckling, the guy sleeping,
not
and the
cool.
crocheting. Seriously,
I think that
that was total. I'm sorry. I believe that was set up, and I'll just run with that.
I
Nah.
actually.
Kenny's like,
Okay. I love when train wrecks happen, but when it's just consistently, it's like watching something that you have no control over. And when Ben was up there, I felt bad. It was just like I wanted to like just grab her off the screen and just say, just sit it down, and it's not working.
It's okay, girl.
She bombed. I think Courtney Act bombed. Laganja bombed. And it was just
Courtney,
all-
I do respect the idea to try to use your strong point, which is singing. But like Michelle Visage said, if you're going to use a song, make it the funniest song you've ever heard.
Yeah. And maybe for your viewers who don't live in West Hollywood, who don't, you know, it's not funny to them if they don't know
It's true.
the culture, the West Hollywood culture.
The bubble.
Yeah. So anyway, it just didn't work.
And Laganja's jokes did not read to an old audience at all.
Oh no, she said the one about
At
the dry
all.
vagina.
And
That's disrespectful.
And you're talking about weed to old audiences, like that's not what they want to hear.
It was just not. And Adore, I here's the thing about Adore. I don't think she was as bad as they made it seem that she was. I feel like it wasn't great, but it wasn't like
She banked on her charm. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's all right.
And she dropped
It
the
is what
F-bomb.
it is.
I'm all for F-bombs.
Yeah, but you gotta pick your spots with those.
I think, wasn't it Detox last season or 2 seasons ago when, she got so
Oh
nervous?
yeah, she got so nervous she kept dropping F-bombs. Yeah.
So, yeah. Anything else?
I'll be cleaning your yard later.
The last thing I wrote, that was funny. The last thing I wrote was, because they will always cut to Michelle when she's watching these things. And I feel like the cut is supposed to imply that Michelle is like disdainful. But I was like, why do they do that? Michelle just has resting bitch face. So
That is a condition.
it's a condition. I have it. I have resting
we
bitch
all have
face.
it.
So it's like when you're listening, I think she was just listening and they kept cutting to her and I was like, they're making it look like she's like frowning on everybody.
We're not supposed to, harp on the editing, remember?
Oh yeah.
That's a rule.
There was no editing.
That was your favorite joke?
resting bitch face.
Which?
The Adore, I'll cut your grass.
Yeah, that was
Oh
funny.
yeah.
Was that your favorite joke?
Oh, I don't know.
What was your favorite joke? That's not all.
Well, I was still
Oh,
mad that
sorry.
Ben was still here. Sorry, go ahead.
You're so evil. That's so
I think my
wrong.
favorite joke was Trinity's joke about
The lights.
the eating. Well, the eating.
The eating was funny.
Yeah.
But see, because I had, if you're watching Family, I do apologize, but I remember my grandmother used to say the same thing about the lights, It has nothing to do with lights, like the breathing, stop breathing, and you run up my light bill. I remember stuff like that, so that's why it sat well with me. And I think she got an A for effort because she really turned it around. She wasn't as funny as Bianca, but again, I think Bruce Valanche, who was one of the judges, said that after Laganja, I was going to say Labanja. She bombed on stage. Trini got on stage, got everyone out of the seat, and changed the energy around in the room, which I thought was smart.
Yeah,
I don't know if
it
she
is smart.
did it purposefully, but it was smart.
It was
Well, and a
smart.
comic trick, because they even mentioned about Bianca, a comic trick is to make fun of yourself first.
And then make fun of
Then make fun of the audience.
Another good comic trick, though, which is what Trinity used, which is go on your own experience. Like if you have an experience that you feel that other people might have had,
Generally, it's going to be
Use that.
relatable.
And I think that Ben was trying to get there. She just wasn't getting there fast enough.
Right.
Like she started describing where she was from and kind of like how people in Seattle are, but it just didn't. She just didn't get there fast. She was just rambling.
I think she would have done better if she had changed up her voice or something. Because I think the jokes were there, but maybe delivery was
Fell flat.
off.
Oh, and Jamie Presley, by the way, she looked beautiful. She was the other judge.
she did.
My name is Earl.
And
I wish
then-
they need to give her a show. I love Jamie Presley. I think she's funny. And she's beautiful. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie. Why are you saying hi to Bruce Valanche? I love my creepy uncle.
I like that shirt. And you know what? He's getting older, but he looks the same. He doesn't look like
He
he's
looks the
doing
same weird.
that. I thought it was funny. And he's a funny guy. I mean, he writes for
is funny.
everybody.
He is funny.
He wrote the Oscars. He
I
does a
do-
lot of like funny things.
We said this before, but I do like that the hosts are topical.
Yeah, totally.
It's
You know what?
At least more often than not.
You know what I didn't get this episode that they've done with other comedy challenges
What
is
is
that
that?
they do walkthroughs. Like mentoring.
Yes,
a
I
mentor
think
set.
they should have done
Because
that,
this was
yeah.
one of the episodes where
needed
nobody was a comedian.
Yeah,
and
it needed
It would have been
mentoring.
nice if Bruce Valanche was one of the mentor or
Yeah.
a mentor for, tell me a joke.
Right.
So we didn't kind of get that. But again, editing. They probably didn't have time or they just
or maybe
didn't.
they did do that and we didn't see it.
Exactly. So there's your editing comment for the night again.
You can just edit out our editing.
There was no runway. Which, by the way, can we talk about what they had on while they were doing their jokes? No. Jocelyn Fox, I'm sorry, I love you. That dress didn't fell. Just
didn't
like your
even-
performance.
I
She had-
didn't hear
I think the most interesting thing to me was Adore's like Katy Perry Mexican outfit because she made a joke about it and I thought it was hilarious.
I like Bianca's dress.
You
Oh, I guess
said-
that. I mean, okay, so I guess that didn't really have anything to do with the challenge.
The outfits?
Yeah.
I mean, they were cute, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was trying to.
Okay, you couldn't miss. You couldn't miss Laganja. Yeah, I'm just saying you couldn't miss that.
Yeah.
That was just wrong.
That was a big.
SpongeBob, Space Princess.
She should have went.
SpongeBob Space Princess.
She should have went with the wig she had on underneath it. I
Yes.
think it
Well, and
totally fine.
so in the lip sync, that was another thing where it's like, I don't know, the wig underneath it for me.
If you're gonna have
It wasn't
something.
when if you've already had somebody on the history of this show do a wig reveal and it was the most perfect wig reveal you will ever see in your entire life,
Who are we talking about?
Fatty.
Roxy. Now, if you're not going to
shouldn't have said that.
replicate that,
Sorry.
try something else because her wig reveal was just like
It did. Well,
it didn't do anything for me.
Here's the thing. For
Shout
that-
out to Roxy. What up, big girl? Big goes over.
for that particular song, which was "Whip My Hair," and the whole. I think for that episode, she knew she was going to be in the bottom two. She's like, "I'll show you,"
Yes.
And it worked.
It was
Now,
perfect.
See, for this one, it didn't work. However, I thought the song choice for these two were like
Yeah, the
spot
song
on.
choice was so perfect.
Stupid Girls.
And I
here's
love
the thing.
Pink. And I love
Well,
Pink.
no, I feel like they the previous episode, the song choice for the two that were lip syncing was perfect. I
Mm-hmm.
think for these two girls, they're not the brightest, sharpest tools in the shed.
I love Jocelyn.
I love Jocelyn too. I'm a big fan of hers now. I think that she kind of lost to Laganja. This is the only time I ever say anything positive about Laganja right now.
What?
I think that Laganja actually did a little bit better in the
Get
lip
out.
sync.
Shut the front door. Roya, cut him off.
I actually thought she did better. I do like the double split. That was cute.
The double split was the best part. The double split was definitely the best
You know
part.
when they were like in the workroom listening to something, they all had planned. They
Yeah.
planned that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But please comment and rip Kenny as hard as you can because I don't know what he was watching. Jocelyn worked the runway.
She did.
And she gave face. She served
Yeah,
face.
she served
She was
face.
reading Laganja without even saying, you know what I mean? She was serving her. I'm sorry. That's what made me actually like her even more. She's in my top 3. She's my number 3 right now. So
I love her.
Laganja
Not-
didn't win.
I-
She lost. Laganja lost because she doesn't know when too much. She doesn't
Yeah.
understand the concept of too much.
I agree.
The second drop, girl, seriously.
It was like, ooh, okay. But I thought she turned it out a little bit.
No, I thought she did a good job.
And
I
I'm
thought she
only
did a good
basing
job.
this based on
She looked desperate.
based on what happens in Untucked because she got ripped to shreds in Untucked, but it was on her. It was it was her kind of her own fault.
I think
And
little
Alyssa's
bit.
fault. If we're gonna talk about it, should blame Alyssa too.
But I think
But yeah.
also in Untucked, it seemed to have been like it got to this point where everyone was frustrated, and unfortunately, it just came out as everyone is frustrated all at the same time and all like
Here's
spitting
my
it at her.
thing. This is what I want to know.
I'm sorry. We have so many things going on. Everybody has like, here's my thing. I apologize. I apologize.
I say
'Cause
that
I've said
too.
it myself tonight.
I say that all
There's
the
a lot
time.
of things going on. Go ahead, Kenny.
Oh.
What's your thing?
What's your
My thing is, Laganja, after I've given her praise for her lip sync for her life, before that, because what we see is we see the episode and then we see Untucked. Everything on Untucked, it was just a mess. It was a train wreck. And I never, not once, felt bad for her. And then going back in my head, not knowing, again, we talk about how being in Untucked and going through all these emotional things and then knowing that you may be in the bottom 2 and have to lip sync for your life and get on stage and perform, I would give her props for that. Because she had a breakdown.
Yeah.
Like,
Again.
it was all I thought done a little over the top. A
Again.
little emotionally dramatic.
And I love that nobody went out to chase her.
She will, and I've said this before many times, but if you're begging to go home, you should be going home. Like, you can't, if you're at a point where you
I
don't
will
want to
tell you
handle
a
it, you
story.
should be going home.
Can I defend her?
Miss Kenya's done this himself.
Can-
He's pulled out a little trump card. He thought he was gonna be slick and storm out. I made sure nobody followed her. Sorry,
Okay,
girl.
so here's the thing,
Nobody's
and I'm not
falling for
gonna
that.
I'm not gonna defend her. I will say that Bianca bringing the whole previous episode with her was a kind of not the best timing per se.
She's like, she may not be here next week. I'm gonna call her out right now. I would too. I would have done the same thing. It's not like she did it on main stage. I would have done it on Talk too, because what I got was that Laganja tried to turn around and make her feel bad about the situation. And I think that Bianca actually did feel a little remorse for what she said. And then, because even I caught it and then talked to her, I was like, wait, did you just said 24 years you waited? But I totally got it. I was like, thank you. Somebody else has logical
But I think Bianca didn't
thought process.
it didn't hit Bianca until the first episode of Untucked. Well, let's just say a week before that, where she was talking to Adore and the other one. She was like, oh, wait a minute. And she said, as she was walking away, she said, oh, that's when. But I feel like bringing that up, I would have done it
twice.
We know.
I think it's a little unfair. And here's me wishy-washing again. But I think I don't get me wrong. I didn't like Laganja. I'm glad she went home. I'm glad it's all said and done. But on the drive over here, I actually, for the sake of the show, it would have been nice for her to stick around to get ripped on more. Only because, please make a comment down there, because I want to hear what you say. But again, I think it was, and Courtney kind of said it afterwards. She's like, I don't think we did that in the best way possible.
Right, they ganged up on her.
Because here's my thing. On the same breath, in the same vein of what Bianca was talking about, she talks, Alyssa had her little thing in the Untucked and, to be the best queen you can be. And then all of a sudden, when she's being sent home, she tells Ru, thank you for everything you've done for me. You're the first person who has made me feel a certain way. I'm thinking, what about Alyssa? Ru's the first person that's made you feel a certain way.
Well,
I mean, it had to do with drag. She doesn't think before she speaks. That's my thing with Laganja.
But here's the thing. I can not to vouch for her, but sometimes when you watch, RuPaul is the only person I've ever seen on TV in drag when I was like 15, 12 years old. So maybe just seeing that image, she's 24, 23, 24. Maybe seeing RuPaul on TV at some point might have been like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is, But then she gets into the whole, well, Alyssa did this, and, I was a teacher at her dance studio, and blah, blah, blah.
And Alyssa tried to convince her not to do drag, which I found interesting.
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
Listen to your mother.
Well, I don't think that she's a bad drag queen. She's just annoying.
No, again, she's not. We're talking about drag race. This is a competition. I'm not saying she's a horrible drag queen.
No.
She may be an amazing drag queen. She's actually a really good performer. She's a dancer. I get that. But drag, like we've all said, has more aspects than just dancing or mugging or serving body. It's a myriad of concepts and ideas that make up drag. So suck it.
So here's my question. Do you think, Bianca and Darian are a little bit older. Do you think there should be an age limit as to, because,
no. I want to see a geriatric drag queen. Boo, I said it.
I'm just saying,
With brand new tennis balls.
Because Shanji, when she first came on, she'd only been doing it for 6 months, and she made it on the show. And then she got brought back for another season and didn't win. I just kind of wanted to rip on her just now, and that's all I wanted to say. But do you think that you should have some kind of level of expertise to even throw your hat in the ring? Or do you think, hey, it's an open field. If you want to do it, if you just started yesterday, you should just, get on the show?
If you're that good and you just started yesterday, then yes, you should get on the show.
What do you guys think?
Well, clearly Laganja makes us feel a certain way, so she's doing something right. Whatever.
She took it to the extreme, though.
Producers obviously picked her for a reason.
By the way, when she was in the hallway, she wasn't by herself. They had it framed.
Who was there with her?
There was either a producer or somebody who worked on the show.
That doesn't count.
Because you can see. Well, go back and rewatch it. They framed it to where you can only see her, and then when she's walking back, you get a glimpse of somebody else that was standing in front of her.
I'm sure they know though. Like you have to know the people who are filming you all the time, and so it's like at some point, I'm sure that person just talked to her. Because if you're that upset, you want to get them back into the room.
Well, not even that. It's like you're also creating drama by leaving the room and having that. And the greatest thing was when she left, everyone just sat quiet, didn't say anything. It was awkward times. It wasn't awkward. It was just like, oh, this actually
I would have been
just
Adore
happened.
and I would have said, don't none of you follow right there. Just stay right there.
I was actually Adore when she stood up and was like pointing the finger and was like, got in her face. It was just, I thought that
according to Cam, that's a good friend, right?
Is that a good friend, really?
That's what Cam said.
Really? To make you feel even.
Because I'm gonna call you. Don't make it about everybody else. It's not about everybody. It's all about you. You created this whole situation, and you're not gonna get out of it by blaming other people.
But Cam, as my friend,
and I've done this to Kenny. I have.
I would expect you to be like, it's okay.
If Kenny shuts his trap and doesn't keep the train going, then I'll let him be, and I will always back you up. If I was a daughter, I would have done the same thing. If Laganja had just stayed quiet, but she wanted to keep going, and that's like, no, girl, you're digging your hole, you're digging the grave deeper. Just shut up. Just shut up about it.
But she didn't shut up.
Because I mean, unless you can refute what Bianca was saying, Bianca had a point. You made me feel bad about what I was saying, and your story is not meshing. It's not jiving.
And I don't think, I mean, if we go all the way back, it's like, I don't even think Bianca was wrong to try and lighten the situation.
Right.
No, because when Jocelyn, which that was a sweet little moment too, with when her fiance came on the screen and they talked about it, they lightened the mood.
Yeah.
And Jocelyn was all for it.
Yeah.
You know, she was like, oh, you know, that was a cute moment. This is why we like Jocelyn. Yes. She's adorable.
We don't want, I mean, it's like, if you want to drag out a dramatic moment, it looks like you're trying to just get attention.
Attention whore. Or as I wrote, horse.
Horse.
Attention horse. I was writing so fast. So there you have it.
RuPaul's Drag Race.
It was RuPaul size, and I think if they had to do 2 episodes back to back again, these were the perfect 2 episodes.
It was perfect.
I don't think it would have worked any other way. Although my only other programming note that I have to admit is that when I watched it with a group of people. They had episode 7. Followed by episode 8,
then Untucked.
So when Untucked's episode 7 came after episode 8, it was confusing because then I had to go back in memory and be like, oh, because the whole Jocelyn Courtney thing when she ripped her in Untucked, I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
And they even like recapped it in episode 8, which we didn't see it until after episode 8.
Right.
Programming note, just kind of, put episode 7, Untucked 7. Episode 8, Untucked 8.
If you go online like I did, you just pick what you want. Sometimes you watch Untucked first. Sometimes you don't.
By the way, online, their streaming online is logotv.com, which is great. I love it's free, but it's just kind of slow.
It's slow.
Somebody keeps commenting about it. They're tired of watching the same commercial over and over and over.
Yes. That is the one thing I'll say.
Yeah.
If I have to watch Coco Montrese interview people anymore, I'm going to stab my eyes out.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Are we done?
We are done. Kenny, you should probably show them your sign.
Oh, do we want to predict the show?
predictions.
Crap shit.
Do we think that we're going to have an episode where...
And now,
That.
your AfterBuzz TV.
Do you think they're going to bring a hoe back?
Okay, I
think
actually
so.
thought about that. However, they've got... Usually the show runs 14 episodes
Yeah,
a season.
14.
This is episode 8, and they already have 7 contestants. And if you end up with 3... I'm doing the math in my head.
Bring a hoe back and get rid of 2.
That's
right?
a possibility. They can...
Right?
If they were to bring someone back, who would they bring back?
no.
Shangela.
Milk.
I would think Milk. I would actually... I could see them doing Laganja again.
I can see them bringing back Laganja just to ramp it back up.
Yeah. Because now who...
Then I'll be even more
or Gia.
irritated.
Because they don't really have
Oh,
anybody...
Gia.
Now it's just Darian and Ben that don't like each other. Everyone else pretty much gets along. Which is another thing that I kind of like about this cast is like... You get a sense that they all kind of get along. Whereas the Raja season, you had groups that didn't like groups. And then, and then
there
the
were
Coco
cliques, yeah.
and Alyssa drama. Anyway, that's my prediction. Who you want to see come back? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll take Gia.
I think Milk's coming back.
If we don't know.
If it's by talent, it'd probably be Milk. I would have to
Okay, if they do bring somebody back, who do you want to see double eliminated?
say. Ooh.
Oh my gosh. No, I told you I can't do this.
2 people have to go.
Milk and Ben.
Milk and Ben.
Bring
Interesting.
Milk back and send Milk and Ben home.
I want Laganja to come back just to send her home again, and I'll probably have to get rid of Courtney because she's not really doing anything for me.
I feel like we're going to have, because Courtney, as much as I do love Courtney, I feel like she might be going home soon just because all of the things she's saying, or she might be in the bottom or something like that because all the things that she's saying about it not being challenging for her. I feel like she might hit that moment where it's like, okay, this shit got real.
between Courtney, Ben, Bianca, I think those are the only two who have not been in the bottom two so far this season, who are left. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's it for us. Where can we find you, Jackie?
At 123Jackie_B on Twitter and at 123JackieB, all one word on Instagram.
Cameron?
Tamakava 777.
And I brought visuals. This is where you can find me. I don't know if you can see it close up, but that's where I'm at. Thank you guys for watching our Rupert size. Actually, we did good. We close to an hour.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Let's give ourselves a hand.
Yeah, pat our backs.
Let's pat Jackie's exposed shoulder.
Thank you for watching. Comments on YouTube, Twitter. Hit us up on Twitter. iTunes and AfterBuzz TV. Thanks,
We
guys.
love your
And
comments.
you can reach Tony at Lounging with Tony on
I'm so
all
sorry.
Platforms. And
including
Mickey's.
Grindr and Scruff.
Kenny
Scruff.
only knows. It's right here on the counter.
And East Siders go to Good Microbrew and Grill on Monday night.
Sunset and Lucille.
Sunset, Lucille, 8 o'clock. Play some bingo. Next week, BB Benet, Zahara
Zahara Benet.
Benet will be the ball caller. So go see it. Check it out.
Baller shot caller. Know
That's
your
it.
status. Know your status.
That's it.
From
Thanks.
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.